just realized that I forgot to say hi at the beginning of the video. So, hi. And there is my, somewhere, there. I don't know if you recognize that or not. I hope so. Okay. It's just about dry, but while I'm waiting for that last little bit, I want to talk about how tornadoes form and where. They form from, if you've ever heard your parents or somebody say it's muggy out, it's hot and muggy, it's going to end up blowing up a storm, they're not completely wrong at all. Because what happens is warm, moist air is it takes it in an updraft, and it meets colder air at the top, which causes it to be unstable, and then this starts happening. So, I'm not a weatherman, but I grew up in Tornado Alley. Tornado Alley in the United States is a part of the center of the nation, from Texas all the way up, that is most prone, that we know of, to tornadoes. And right now we're in what's called tornado season. Now, the thing about that, it does help us be more aware at this time of year, but you don't want to be mistaken and say that they only happen in Tornado Alley and they only happen this time of year, because a tornado can happen anywhere at any time. And some people have been pretty surprised when they get them. It's some places, I mean, you don't expect them over a desert, because generally you don't have a lot of moist air down, but it doesn't mean they can't happen there. So anyway, it used to be not so easy to predict tornadoes, especially in any time that was going to be. I'm going to do different colors here. Mostly it's going to be grayish, because, and it's definitely clouds. But these are tornado clouds. These are storm clouds. Used to be pretty much the only way to know if a tornado was coming. I mean, if the conditions felt right, the weatherman who had studied and stuff knew that there was a possibility, they'd always report. But most of the time, if it was a full tornado warning, a lot of it came from sightings. By the time there's a sighting, it's you better work fast. And then the news would give you a warning for your area. You'd be in a watch, and then they'd turn it into a warning. Now, I'll be putting some stuff down here, probably some little towns or something. I'll go ahead and use this for now. Oftentimes, what looks like a big tornado are actually smaller tornadoes that have gathered together and make one, or it's a group of tornadoes, and the debris that they pull up is what makes the big. It's the speed that they travel and the speed within them. All of that figures in. But now if it picked up enough debris, or if it just all came together, and they can be what they call sidewinders like that. But a lot of what you see coming up from the ground, and I say coming up from the ground because it'll get so far down, and then it'll look bigger at the bottom, and that is because of the debris it's pulling up. So then we are going to see something down here that's much more like this. And it's going to start getting bigger up here, because down here on the ground it is picking up dirt, debris, whatever's in its way. So this may seem wrapped, what they would call wrapped, but I don't know. This isn't really getting very pretty at all. But then they're not generally pretty. Now I've fixed this the way it is. I fixed this bigger down here because it's just a lot of stuff, a lot of debris to pick up. I'm not liking this one so much. They do have the sidewinders, but making sure it's good and dry, and I have a couple things to do yet. Okay. This is our safety zone right here. What we do is we'll come in here and we'll close all the doors. That's my dirty craft. The bathroom and the bedroom. And we should have our kit with us. If we do, we've got a radio, a battery operated radio, but this is where we're at. Yes, we have a basement. It's steep. Okay. We do have a basement, and it's a good basement. Steps getting down to it. That's the problem. They're steep. And we do have a thing to hold on to, a rail. But you get to a certain age, your equilibrium isn't as good. And on stairs that steep, it's just, for us, it's better to stay up here. And some people don't have basements at all. You need to be an interior room where there's very little debris, and you can cut out a lot of that debris. Some go into a bathroom, get in the bathtub. Some go into the hallway or a closet. You want to have something that you can cover your head with, because if stuff starts flying around you, you don't want to get your head cut or hit. I mean, you don't want to have that happen anywhere, but the head is the most vital part of your body. And so that you want something to cover up with, even if it's your hands, if you don't have anything else. But if you put together a kit, what you probably need is a flashlight, a battery operated radio, or one of those weather radio things. I may have gotten a little overboard here, but the thing of it is, with tornadoes, this could be a minimum. We've had tornadoes that would come down on one single house and then go back up. And then some may take and make swaths through an entire county. You never know when they're going to come down. You never know when they're going to go back up. You don't know when they're going to turn. They are unpredictable as far as their movements. What they do now have, which helps with more warning ahead of time, is they've got satellite, they've got all kinds of different technologies now, as well as they've learned a lot more. But there's no way to exactly pinpoint a tornado. It still comes from sightings, or that maybe there is an indication on radar of some rotation, and that ends up being what they will use for either a warning or a watch. A watch is when there is a possibility, and a warning is when there is one in the area. So if you're within a certain, I think here it's within like, I don't know, 6 or 7 miles of a sighting, our sirens will go off. And then we need to get to shelter. Now, thank goodness, they go off a lot more times than we actually get hit. We've only had one that they called it tornadic winds, but what it did is the neighbor behind us across the alley lost her shed. And it missed us entirely, took somebody else's metal building, little metal shed, twisted it up, threw it across the street, and tore down a whole bunch of trees. But we lost a few limbs, and that was it. Otherwise, we were in good shape. A few years before that, we had what was called straight line winds. It wasn't really a storm, it was straight line. They called straight line winds, and we lost a lot of our roof. So weather is unpredictable, and it's not, I mean, yeah, they forecast it. They do a lot better at forecasting it. But I'm trying to show in this picture just how mean and nasty these things can be and how selective they seem. Like I was saying, their movement can be unpredictable. They will, a lot of times when you watch the weather up here during a tornado outbreak, you will see where it'll be at warning in one area, and several areas around it will have watches. But then as the storm moves, sometimes it'll dissipate. Sometimes it'll turn up again somewhere else. And so they're constantly moving the map, or moving things on the map. They're constantly showing different areas of the map and changing, like if it's if it's hit one town and it's kind of moved on, it might take, they'll put a red box or polygon around the area that is in the warning, an orange polygon around the watch. A watch means a possibility. A warning means get to safety, because it's a good possibility. So you have to just be aware of what you can do for yourself. And I know one time we were on we were up at a friend's house. This is years ago. And there was a warning. And they lived in an apartment. But I don't know if anybody lived in the other part. But we all ended up in that basement. Plus, people will just stop and say, there's a basement there, let's go get in it. Because sometimes you just have to. Mobile homes, get out of them. Hopefully your mobile home park will have a shelter. But they can twist those things up like a smashed Coca-Cola can. I swear. They just tear apart. So it just get to a very low place. Now here on the painting, I'm trying to show that barn hasn't been touched. But look at the house. The house has been ripped in half. There were back in, what year did those hit? All the way from Plymouth up through Claytonia and Hallam and early 2000s. Anyway, yeah, it just great big swath through several communities, and one community was completely just disappeared. And, well, I mean, it was there, but it was just completely ripped apart. And so we were in one, Red Cross workers were in one town in a fire hall. We were serving sandwiches and drinks and stuff. Yeah, you just never know what they'll do. I love you. Sorry, I don't need to apologize. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Be aware of the season and enjoy it. Enjoy your season. Just be careful and have that radio handy and the flashlight and a safe place. As safe as it can be.